All right, I told you we we're gonna do a test drive, so I'm a man of my word. So we're back. All right, so we're gonna go see what this suspension feels like. If you hear another voice in here, it's because my friend Tony is sitting right next to me. He's just out of the camera. But we're gonna go see what this feels like. Remember, this is HKS Hipermax S suspension. Now, if you've been in a normal GR Corolla, then you know that our suspension is, let me just say this, okay? Our suspension is good because it handles well. But the way it handles small bumps, it's harsh. I'll just say it's harsh. It's not really the most, if you're used to it, it's fine. I'm used to it. I like it kind of being harsh. I bought a sporty car. That's what I suspect it to be. That's why I expect it to be. So it's not a bad thing for me. For others, they might be like, yo, I don't like this. I wish it was a little bit softer. So this is what this is about, right? HKS said, we're giving you a street setup that handles better than stock. The damping is better. It's more fine-tuned. So we're gonna find out, because we're in the inner streets of Houston. There are plenty of potholes and train tracks to find out if this is actually what they said it is. So the first step, I'm just gonna cut down the street and see. We made up a little bit of a route because we gotta figure out where we're gonna go to begin with. So here and there, I'm gonna jump in and I'm gonna jump out and I'm gonna tell you what I feel, tell you what I think. I'll be back. Have you been, what is it, Home Slice?
No, I don't think I have.
What? You haven't eaten that Home Slice pizza?
Maybe, but I don't recall.
Now, you would recall this pizza because that's how good it is. There's no confusion. It's just that good. It's in like Midtown. It used to only be in Austin. I would drive literally to Austin to get some of this pizza. But it's called Home Slice. If you like New York style, if you like Chicago, then it ain't that. But New York style, amazing. All right, I know we were talking about pizza. Listen, pizza is a very passionate subject of mine. I love it. Preliminary thoughts. Well, not preliminary, because I already drove the car before. I'm just like telling y'all what I think. I don't want to like gas anybody up and think like nothing can be improved upon. But this feels fantastic. And I've been in my car for 30,000 miles. So I know exactly what the stock suspension, there's an ambulance coming if you hear it flying behind me. You'll see it. There it goes. It feels a lot better than the stock one, especially at low speed. So the stock suspension on a GR Corolla, low speed, it kind of can crash over stuff in a weird way, where sometimes it's supple and you're fine, and then one time you hit like a small undulation in the road and it'll feel like you just rolled over like a whole box or something. But it seems that HKS damping setting that they have keeps it very subtle, where small bumps you go over aren't really felt. Like nothing upsets the car even in stock form. You don't got to worry about the car being upset because you're driving over certain bumps. But even a bump like that, you don't really feel or hear anything. The ambulance is doing a U-turn. I don't know if that's a good thing, because if you in an ambulance and you got to bust a U-turn, it's not, things aren't looking so good for you right now. Time is of the essence, as they say. So small bumps, large bumps, and what else? Some train tracks. There goes another bump there too. Nothing is really upsetting. The car isn't a rattling mess. You don't hear something jarring happening. So far, so good. We're gonna do another route. We're going further down the street. I'll check back in later. Be out. All right, I will show you some image of me going under this underpass, but guess what? The camera's pointing at my face, so you get to look at me again. So where we're going, this is, I mean, you can see the car moving. This is about as rough as you would probably ask or want, and it feels much better than even I thought. And I'm used to driving my car so much that when I'm driving this car, I'm slowing down because I'm so used to my suspension that I'm like, no, if I go over that at this speed, it's gonna feel bad. It's not gonna feel that great. It's gonna be pretty loud. However, this is proving the fact that you can do pretty much all that. I'll show you when I'm outside the car again, because the ride height and everything is another selling point of this. It's not slammed to the ground, but it also isn't unusable. That's the one thing that always happens. You slam a car, it looks cool, still can't go nowhere though. Gotta dodge every pothole, every speed bump that you can find. So everything is good. We're going on the freeway. I'll leave it on. We're just gonna jump on there real quick, see what it feels like. Like I said, it feels good. Is it worth the price? This costs, I'll just say $2,500. You're probably gonna catch a deal. You get it a little bit less. You know somebody that knows somebody, cuts you a little bit of a discount. I know that price tag is enough to get people to say, I want no parts of it, but you got to pay to play, honestly. The cheap alternative is springs, but coming from somebody who has springs on his car, he will tell you, after a while, the springs and the stock shocks and the struts, they start doing what they always do. They start wearing out faster. The ride gets bouncier. It gets harsher. And soon enough, you're going to make your way over to coilovers. Now, not everybody's going to want coilovers. Some people, it's going to be based on budget. Maybe they don't daily drive their car. Maybe where they live, the roads are really smooth and buttery and they don't got to worry about this. But we live in Houston, okay? So I might have smooth roads out where I live for a brief amount of time. And then very quickly, as I commute into work or wherever I'm going, the roads will change into the nightmare that we know they are. So I don't want a setup that's like just springs. Hence why I wanted to drive this car and talk about it to get a feel for like what's the value in having springs and having, you know, coilovers. What's the difference? That's what everybody wants to know. They want to know, is it worth the time? I'm in this test drive and can tell you from even the freeway, the highway. Now I know we don't have like canyons. The best I can do is me going around these on-ramps and curves a little bit faster. Now I've done that while I've been on the video, and as you notice, it's not really anything. I'm not leaning too hard. The car is settled. It handles changes very well. But the ride is the biggest, my biggest thing. Some people might worry about the handling. I think if you're tracking, obviously that's your biggest goal. Mine is maintain the same level of performance and handling as a stock car, but give me better feel and ride quality. So far, I feel like they've achieved that. Now, some people may want even tighter handling. Remember I said HKS has something called the Hipermax R. That is a track one. The spring rate on this, it was like 7 and 9. So 7 and 9, 7 kilograms in the front, 9 in the rear. The Hipermax R's are like 14 and 20. I don't even want to know what that feels like. I'll be honest. It sounds cool on paper. Like, oh, I got this really stiff suspension that's made to be maximum attack mode handling. But again, I daily drive this car. There's no way, I don't care how much damping they put into it, that 14 and 20 is going to feel the greatest every day. All right, we're going to cut down some other streets, and I'm going to check back in. Peace. So I'm in the neighborhood now, you know, low speed, going over speed bumps. Now, obviously, a speed bump is so slow, you really can't really see anything. But I'm just here to tell you that you can handle a speed bump fairly well. All right, we made it back. Listen, it feels, round of applause to HKS, because I can't complain about what I'm feeling. This feels great. I'm about to jump into passenger because I want to feel everything, okay? I want to be a driver and I want to be a passenger. And then I'm going to show you the outside too, because you need to see like the stance of everything he has on this, okay? Because his car is very dope looking. Probably one of the best looking GR Corollas around, in my opinion. Probably his too. Now, I'll be back. All right, so I told you I was going to show you the car on the outside. I don't even know if you really can tell, but obviously my car is stock ride height. But I do have a little bit of a wider. Mine's a 245 tire. I'll show you closer. His is a 255 on a 9.5 plus 22 TE37 wheel. A spec that you all know. But the difference is he has a real functional ride height. Like, the point of doing all this, and let me see if I can get low. The point of doing this is because when you have front lips in carbon, that's a Sabre design kit if you didn't know. You don't want to tear this stuff up. I don't want to be riding over bumps and trying to like get my way around. And if you notice, if I go over to my car, you can kind of see a little bit of how the height is. I don't know, maybe I jump back a little bit more so you can see. But you can see like the height there. And then if I turn around to his, you can see the height there. Very close. I mean, he's not that much lower than mine, even with the front lip, but all those speed bumps and stuff we went over, we didn't have to worry about it. You can see it from the wheel, how much space, I guess. It's like 2 finger gap. You could do one, and then if you do one, you're pretty much gonna be worrying about scraping. But in this setting, even with this plus 22 on a 255, 35, there's no rubbing. Rubbing is usually the issue that we have when it comes to how these cars are and how the wheels and stance are. So if you notice it and you're looking at it and you're like, it could be more aggressive, it could be, and it also could be less functional. So they're same thing too. It's even across 25.5 millimeters.
No,
inches. 25.5 inches from front to back. So you can kind of tell how much lower it is against my car to his car. It's a good stance. It's not slammed, but it's a very good height. So you could go lower, like I said. You can go lower if you want. I really wouldn't. Now I'm gonna jump in as a passenger because I want to feel what it feels like as a passenger. And then I'll report back. We'll be back. Peace. I will say this, as a passenger, it feels even better. I thought driving it was better, but sometimes you're driving, you're steering, you're doing all this stuff together, you don't get all the nuances. And so far, so good. You're gonna see the route we took. I'll cut in a couple things here and there, but like I said, this feels HKS very good. Now see, here's the route we took. I'm just showing you on the road. So you can see the road. Now, if the camera shakes a lot, it's just because the camera's shaking. But it's not like the car feels comfortable. Like you're not, it's very well settled. Like I said, it's worth the price of admission. Maybe if you're looking for a cheap alternative, I don't know what those feel like. Hey, maybe one day I'll be able to try one of those other ones out. But right now, we're pretty much at the top when it comes to suspension aimed at daily drivability, especially in this price range. So HKS Hipermax, I guess you could throw in the Fortune Auto 500s, maybe the 510s. Olin's is coming. KW said they're coming. But for now, this is pretty much what we have options. Here's another thing. What this suspension I'm noticing allows is me not having to drive and dodge everything like I'm trying to dodge bullets. Like you can kind of just drive over stuff. You see it, like I said, smooth, clean, nice. No, I have. I sat in, like, not mine, Chris's car.
gotcha.
So I know how the thing feels when it's going over rough roads. is usually that, like I said, the car feels good and it handles well. It's just when you're going over like these small bumps, and it's like you get these moments where it's like it jars. It's very stiff.
Yeah.
I don't say it's bad. It's just that if you know you've been in it for a while, you can tell and say like, yeah, it's jarring. You're like, okay, I can see why. Now we get used to it because you've been driving the car so long. But I can immediately tell the difference when I ride in yours. I'm like, oh, okay, that's completely different. Mine don't ride this smooth. Yeah.
I mean, we might
get like you have an exhaust. Like you can catch air and rip off an exhaust. Oh, that's good.
Smooth,
yeah.
Right?
All right, I'm done. Listen, there you have it. Don't say I never did nothing for you. And what's my thoughts? I think it's worth it as far as suspension goes. How it feels. You saw the install. The install was cool. A little hard on the rear, like I talked about, but like, listen, you live and you learn, you figure things out, and if I get the same suspension or another one, I'll know what other technique to use. But other than that, as you can see, that's how it sits. This is my stock one, so if you want to see what modified to stock GR Corollas look like, there you got it, right there. All right, that's it. CarQuicks is out. You know the drill. Like, subscribe, tell your mom, tell your brother, tell your sister. Peace.